How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to do, it's just a mission, but it's a pretty important one. It's called Quid Pro Quo, and it's the mission you need to do to unlock the Kenworth 963, I believe it's called, one of the two new trucks I've added in this phase. And then yeah, I'll also show you where the upgrade location is as well. So for the mission, it's over in the top left hand corner of the map, like this little factory. Yeah, Quid Pro Quo. You have to grab a little scout fuel trailer from there and then drive it up the mountain to this location. You can kind of see it's not that brightly coloured, but the Kenworth truck is actually there. And yeah, once you're there, drop the scout fuel trailer off in like the little yellow square and then fix the Kenworth, which it needs 240 repair points and I believe 265 fuel, but you've got the scout fuel trailer. The road I'm going to take is kind of this one up the middle of the map, really, along the river to the top of the map. When I get here, I'm obviously driving straight over, but to get the upgrade, I'm then going to turn right here. It's just because I'm going to have the same footage twice. The upgrade is there just north of, like, it's pretty obvious, that sort of little racetrack thing going on. Yeah, and then to the top of the map, over to the left, yeah, grab that, up the little sort of windy mountain path, and then yeah, go and drop it off. It's a shame though, because there's like a railway running along here. It'd be pretty cool if you could go through the mountain, pop out the other side, and then follow the tracks kind of up and go that way. But yeah, the tunnel ain't nowhere near big enough. Ain't fitting in there. That's what she said, of course. I mean, there's a train hanging out each side. It's never a good start. They beat us to it. Like, have me a dolphin, a loaf, 50 gallons of goose fat, and look me away for 8 hours. Be able to fly a Boeing sideways through there. Mountain be signing up to Only Mountains by the time I'm done. His username being Mount Gushmore. Carve mine and the loaf's face on it, of course. And watch the money roll in. See, the loaf's always got a plan. Yeah, I drove through here in... I'm sure I drove through at one point with some chain ties as well. I tend to find I'm going to quite enjoy chain ties, I reckon, on this map. At the minute I've got the custom mods on, which it was just a Taiga. To be honest, which it wasn't the upgrade for this one in the end, it was the upgrade for the other truck, but I set off what truck was I using? I completely forgot now. I was using some truck that was kind of like a middle of the road averagey truck, and yeah, this map is definitely pretty brutal in certain places, so it's going pretty slow and all the rest of it. I was like, sod it, go back to the start, get a Taiga out. And this was just one I already had built that was in the garage, probably one I was kind of forced to recover from Phase 9 with all the blue screening going on, which again, touch wood, so far, I've not had a game crash. Yeah, I just think like there's certain, the way the mud seems to be coded, it's sort of like boggy, like thick mud that slows you down, so, which I tend to find the chain sort of bite a little bit better and kind of, yeah, just sort of smash the way through it instead of the custom muds. They kind of wade on the top almost, and then it takes a little bit longer to kind of chew through the mud and get a bit of grip. But we'll see. I'll keep trying all different tyres. Like I say, it's one of them. Various trucks I've got muds and all that on anyway. But yeah, I've had a little bit of driving around on this map so far, and chain have been doing alright. Obviously, the nice thing at the minute though is these sit a little bit wider, so at least tipping wise there's a little bit less going on. You can see that even little bits like that, and again, I quite like it. It's yeah, the map is kind of definitely reminds me a bit of like the Wisconsin maps, and someone said as well, and I agree, like the Michigan maps, other than it's not kind of autumn everywhere, so, but yeah, but then also dialed up a bit, but it also doesn't feel, it's kind of early days to say, I've not driven everywhere in various different trucks, but for the most part you get little, I don't know, quote-unquote trollish areas like now, but they're not, you know, it's pretty sort of organic within the game kind of thing. It doesn't feel like they've just completely gone insane with it and, yeah, made like a road that's got 1 inch deep mud be like nigh on impassable. And I think the couple of places that I got caught yesterday with the dolphin, I think it was more just hooked on roots. There was just 1 or 2 places, like once you're cutting through the forest, it's yeah, there was just a lot of roots sticking out of the ground. I think I got hooked on one of them. And weaving through all them places, I think this run ended up being like the best sort of quickest run. The reason why I was mentioning like where I turn off for the upgrade is I've still not decided myself yet, but after getting this bit of the footage, I'll show you like where to go to get the upgrade. I don't know whether to leave the footage in or not. It's essentially for, you know, half the journey. I'm driving on the same route I am now. I can't remember which truck as well. I went flying off that bridge at some point. I knew it was only a matter of time. That bridge is way too narrow. Without rails. Yeah, it probably won't be the last time. I go crashing off there. And that's like the main mountain section done. Again, I'm pretty certain this is like the quickest route to go, because even though it's not straight, it's kind of not far off versus the mountain. Yeah, where I just honked the horn and looked, that's where I'll be turning right to then head towards the upgrade. So if I decide to delete that footage out, yeah, it's just, I still don't know. I'm torn between, do I cut the footage out because it's basically the same footage again, or, I don't know, it's also driving footage of like a speed run because I was just off to get the upgrade at that point. We'll see. I find going along here, particularly this bit, you can see like a ledge on the other side. If you drive on where the road used to be, it's really, really slow. I actually didn't quite head over left enough, but if you drive over those dead trees, it's actually, I don't even know if shallower there, but it's just, it doesn't snag you up like you'd think. It's worse if you follow where the road would be. Seeing it's little bits like that, I've just got a feeling that chained would bite a little better and cut through. These, by the way, yeah, that telegraph that's fallen over, you sort of got to go pretty slow over it. I think it was when I was driving over here to get that Quid Pro Quo mission. Obviously, then I'm like starting again from the garage and that. Yeah, the truck I drove into that telegraph pole absolutely deleted me. There's another one here as well. It's like, yep, we're going to avoid that. Yeah, thanks to Kenneth Russ as well. I fell behind with the comments because yesterday was quite a while with the editing and all that. But yeah, just he's the one who gave me the heads up with the Quid Pro Quo mission. And like I say, it's nice to get the truck in the bag pretty early. Overall, I like it. I've not even used it that much. I just looks-wise, again, it reminds me sort of the P12, but just for a start, I like the tyres that come with it a lot more. They sit wider. It looks more proportioned. The P12 looks odd with single tyres, but I don't necessarily want the dual tyres. It'd just be nice if it had, yeah, I don't know, even spacers just to make the wheels sit a bit wider. And yeah, so this is the Scout fuel trailer you got to grab, just sitting there. I'm just towing it along with the winch. I know it's flopping around all over the place, but I don't know, by now they should just let us hook the Scout trailers to the trucks, really. There's no, I don't know, you just end up going to do this. If it was just attached to the back of the truck, it'd probably, yeah, not be rolling around like it is, but again, it's one of them. I'm not going to stick it in low gear and drive it 2 miles an hour, just so the Scout fuel trailer doesn't roll. Caught on them rocks. A nice little run in high gear. This Tayga, though, I've been flying around like sort of all over the place on the map tonight. Yeah, this Tayga's, it's one of them. Obviously, if the right mission comes along, I will try and mix it up with the trucks and all the rest of it, but I can already tell to a degree there's going to be, I'm going to kind of be picking from the pool of the better trucks in the game, just because otherwise, if you brought something, I don't know, just one of the weaker trucks. Some people like this, and I'm not knocking it, it's everyone's playstyle. I don't really like the HX520. I think it didn't help because I got it on Phase 4, that was like a pretty brutal map to begin with. I think that was when they released the game for like the Nintendo Switch, so it probably made sense for people that were new to the game to get it, and it probably fit a lot better in like Michigan. I think it'd be out its depth and go pretty slow in some of like the boggier bits on this map. Yeah, and it'll make me go a lot slower, that's all. I actually find as well, and I don't think this is a bad thing, but is it just me, or is this map massive? Like, I sort of feel like it's bigger than the others. That's definitely what she said. Yeah, like, I know you've got like, before we kind of had small maps and big maps. I think this is like a massive map, unless it's just me, but for example, when I was driving along then, say with the Tayga heading north up the map, consider I'm in the Tayga, in high gear for most of it, it was still like multiple minutes just to drive up the map about as kind of straight line as you can get, really. Yeah, by comparison, just say, I know it's a small map, but Factory Grounds, if you left the garage there and headed up, you'd be at the top of the map in like 30 seconds or something. But yeah, either way, like I say, I think it's cool in general. There's a hell of a lot of map to get around. And so far, yeah, like I say, good first impressions, to be honest. I get a little hesitant because I'm convinced they kind of sneak back in after a week and tweak some things, but I can't deny it's, yeah, I'm liking it. See, I just did this mission in the other Tayga. I actually originally drove here in this Tayga, and it was only now, even though I'm 99.9% of the mission done, I got here, I was like, Jesus Christ, the turning circle on this is shit. I was like, nope, that's it, abandon the whole mission, I'm starting again. So then I did, with this Tayga, which, as you can see, has a much better turning circle. Sweeps around that corner in one instead of the other Tayga. Admittedly, I did approach at a bit of a crap angle, but still, it was going to try like a 5-point turn. I think it's the steering is worse by comparison, but it's just got a longer chassis as well, which doesn't really help. Yeah, drive up. I didn't need to, say, have the Scout trailer attached to my vehicle for it to cash in, which is cool, but worst case, I had a goddamn horse on me, so I could have attached the trailer to him and just cashed it in that way. Yeah, and then that's it. Reverse it up, fixing it, like I say, 240 repair points, so the Loaf's got 300, packing major roof rack. Yeah, so that's enough. Like I say, sometimes they always do, like, or not always, they used to, was like, you need 304 points, just so it's going to force you to have to bring something else for the last 4 points, which was a bit annoying. At that point, it's like, just make it 500. Yeah, sorry, fixing it, and then fuel, I believe it's 265 litres it needed. For some reason, I was going to put the Loaf's fuel in, and then maybe some from the Tayga, because I wanted to leave the Scout fuel trailer at 900. And I don't really know why, I just kind of stared at the screen for 5 or 10 seconds, then clicked the button and used the Scout fuel trailer fuel, and then I was like, ah, well, I'm not restarting the mission now. Sod it. I mean, at least it did make us bring the Scout fuel trailer, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, here it is, only 3,100 or whatever for the mission, but obviously you get this truck, which is worth about 150 grand. And the noise. Sorry, I was saying the noise, I just cut myself off there. It sounds really nice. It just when I gave the engine a little tickle of the throttle there, sounded pretty good. And then, yeah, I drove it for a few seconds and drove it off a cliff. It's like every person who's ever been too drunk laying on their own bed. Like, take me drunk, I'm home. Yeah, looks a bit of a whopper. Once it's actually sat in the garage, you can kind of appreciate that it's, yeah, on the large side. Again, that's definitely what she said. The engine I just got, the 15-litre Wanderer. This is the upgrade then, so I'm going to drive the same way along the map. Long story short, it's just north of, like, yeah, this kind of obvious track-looking thing. As I said, I'm using the same route anyway, so this is where I might just cut it out. And then now's where, instead of going straight on, I'm turning right. That's where the Quid Pro Quo mission was. And then yeah, along here, kind of over the river, because there's not really a bridge to use. Over that bridge though, I could either go this way and wiggle up that path, but one, I wanted to drive on this racetrack, and two, that little blacked out area of map, I kind of wanted to drive through that anyway. Yeah, like I say, just there north of the that track though, and yeah, it's the engine upgrade for this Kenworth 963. Again with the old Tayga. Pretty stripped down Tayga this time as well, not even got a goddamn horse on me. I was playing it risky. And you know what, I am going to cut the footage because it is literally the same drive twice. So, in about a second, I'm going to skip ahead to then, I'm now driving along this road, and this is where, yeah, I'm going to turn right, cut through here. And yeah, so far there's no bridge, but this is actually pretty cool. I like cutting through rivers anyway, to be honest. I've possibly seen before in other videos, even if there is an option of a bridge. I just like the aesthetics of it. Doesn't like that little patch of mud that I hit though. See, and again, just gut feeling, but I've got a feeling the chain will just bite a little quicker through there. But it may well be like a patch of sort of super mud or death mud or whatever near enough, so it might just slow basically everything down, even if you from the best trucks in the game to kind of the middle of the pack ones. Yeah, there's a fuel station on the left just for kind of bearings where I'm going. This is one of the bridges I've actually... I'm surprised out of all of them, and I'm not complaining about it, I'm surprised they didn't make this one of the ones to build, as yeah, you're not really making it across that gap without it. Actually, let me get higher in the gears at this point. Smashed a few rocks. I've noticed it's still doing where it kind of forces me to stay in, say, 4th or 5th out of 8th along some of the roads. But so far, I've not noticed it being as brutal on, like, forcing me to stay in 1st gear. On the slower parts, that sort of annoys me more than not being able to go up into 8th. So yeah, overall, the gearboxes are feeling at least not worse. And now, by the way, I kind of clipped that green box anyway. I had full belief that I was just going to knock those tyres out of the way. I was trying to think, like, a few weeks ago I was playing, what's it called, like Grid Legends or something. It was a game that was like, you get a free game each month with PlayStation, whatever the hell it makes me sign up for. Yeah, and I think you can smash into the tyres on there. I'm sure it's that or something like Wreckfest, but whatever it was, I had full conviction that I was just going to smash through them, and then my truck bounced off them, blown a tyre, broke the fuel tank, the suspension's damaged. This truck, though, you gotta admit, does look pretty good when it's the suspension's damaged and it's sitting pretty low. And all I wanted to do, or one of the reasons I came this way, was I wanted to climb this hill. Obviously didn't help the situation with the truck, but it's always been a solid truck. Up in high gear, motors its way up there. It is one of those trucks that is actually drivable once you smash the suspension. But you can see, if I brought a goddamn horse with me, would have been problem solved, would have fixed me up. Brand new. Could have gone for a couple of laps. Obviously now at this point I'm basically against the fuel clock really, because fuel's pissing out all over the place. I can't remember if I've said before, but once we were coming back from the Isle of Man, we filled it, Vauxhall Vectra, filled it up with fuel, and then it just started pissing fuel everywhere. And yeah, we had to change the boat time to like 12 hours later. We obviously didn't tell them it's leaking fuel, so they won't even let us on the boat. Went through a lot of car washes in the next 12 hours, and yeah, what a car that was. And the accelerator cable broke. It's just all sort not a fan. Anyway, yeah, cut through the track, just north of it, grab the engine, and yeah, Kenworth is at 963. Again, it shrinks the screen. And why do they make, look how much free space there is to make that text bigger, instead make you squint like a maniac. But anyway, yeah, I believe that's the only upgrade for the vehicle. Sounded pretty good even with the normal engine, to be honest. Here's another look at it. And again, I might just turn my mic off. I turned a bit slow, but they've made a bit of an awkward place. Yeah, it sounds really good. Like, I might actually have to wear my headset and drive around in it for a little bit. Yeah, I won't show you too much because I'll obviously do a gameplay and review video on it. Hopefully tomorrow, if not the day after. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, this is the truck and the location video. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf because he's a goddamn beast. And I'll be back soon.